Now, don't quote me on this because I'm too tired to actually look it up, but I believe during the Depression or the Dust Bowl, farmers were losing their farms and like newbies were coming in to buy them to be like, well, you're just terrible at your job, I'll do it. So all the other farmers in the area started showing up to all these farm auctions and basically threatened to, if anybody but the family that owned the farm bid to get the farm back. Unfortunately, people have this belief that like they own their property. Unless it's paid full out, the bank owns your property. Some states have rules about how you can auction off a property or how you can foreclose it, but for the most part, Project 2025 is one of the largest land grabs and money swindles in history. Because when they own all the land and they own all the resources and they've scammed you out of almost all your money and they have that fun little string about your health, they've got you. We've seen it slowly. Like, why buy a car that works? Lease a car that's absolutely going to break down in 4 years, but we'll talk you into buying it at the end of your third year lease. You will see mechanics everywhere here on TikTok. Like, these cars won't even make it to 80,000, let alone 100,000 miles. That used to be the base standard. When I went to high school, everybody was driving their parents' old car. Now, my high school parking lot is nothing but brand new lease cars because you can't show up to school in a beater anymore. I mean, we might also have our priorities in the wrong order. But we don't own our music, and we don't own our homes, and we don't own our cars, and we don't own so many other things that if they, like, force us to spend more money, we will have less. I mean, people have closets full of clothes, but they're from Shein. My grandmother had dresses for like 30 years. My grandfather mowed the lawn in the same damn outfit, I think, his entire life. And before it was his backyard outfit, it was probably an actual outfit. That's a one-time investment in a checkered shirt and khakis. One time. So, I mean, in some ways, they steered us to overconsume, and we went along with it. But on the other side, there was a very good reason for doing it, because if we don't own it, we don't control it, and it can be pulled away from us at any time. Now that it's digital, it can be yanked super fast or altered, which is why so many people have been so busy backing up so much, because they want to have the original copy before Trump and Project 2025 start to change things. I mean, already we have companies with shrinkflation, like, oh, we're doing a rebranding. No, you're just taking away 300 milligrams of whatever the product was. Are about to do is the largest land grab, but the most irresponsible grab for resources. They will rip down trees in national forests because Canada's keeping lumber. You know how long it takes to grow that lumber? Do you know why we were protecting it? It prevents things like landslides and dust bowls and just absolute floods. It's not just that it's pretty and we want to keep it safe. It's that it keeps us safe. And if we rip it all down, we just rush further towards climate change, something America has been busy ignoring for forever. If we taint the water, fine. I mean, Saudi Arabia is probably going to get pissed, and so is Nestle, because, they own most of our water rights. But we're no longer interested in protected endangered species? What does that cost us? Don't shoot bald eagles. Like, I mean, renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of Mexico. They really think it's because that means they would be allowed to drill in it. There's a reason we don't drill there. This is squeezing the last out of, that last little dibble that you get out of the toothpaste before you actually have to go out and buy another tube. I mean, not the massive acreage that, like Bill Gates or Ted Turner and everybody else own. That'll be fine. They have their own water processing, they have their own air filters, it's everything else that truthfully they know is going to go away as climate change happens. Look at every climate change map. Where they're going to screw first and hardest is everything they know is going to disappear in a few years. They've spent 30 odd years thinking this through. They spent 50 years driving us here. Can we just buy it back for cheap? No, because the head of Remax or whatever is probably just going to call Bank of America and be like, cool, every defaulted loan in Kentucky, we want it. And who's going to stop them? What, are you going to try to sue them? Bank of America Remax will just call Trump and donate to his crypto. Allegedly. It's not that we need to give in and give under, but I really think people need to see how the game has been rigged. He's like, oh, well, I'll just buy my house back for cheap. Not this time. Well, I'm 20, I don't need health insurance. Not this time. They know what they're doing, and they know what they want, And they're just assuming that we've gotten so comfortable with being uncomfortable that we won't push back. But they've listed out what they want. They want the land, they want the resources, they want us tied to the land, they don't want us communicating, breeding, working, dying before we become too expensive for them to have to handle. I mean, sure, there's probably gonna be one or two billionaire sons who get all green anchors and like, I can go be a farmer. But for the most part, corporations already own everything. They're just finally gonna put it in their name instead of letting you pretend that this is Jones' farm. No, it's ours. And we're never giving it back.